Hello, my dears. Happy May 2024. Today we're talking about Jupiter in Gemini. It is actually going to be a more intense video than I think either of us are ready for. So what I would love to offer for you is getting some warm water. I have a nice herbal tea. It's Cup of Calm, yogi tea, I want to say. Traditional medicinal, pardon me. And a garden is a delight to the eye and a solace for the soul. Really, really exciting stuff. We're in for a very exciting transit. And I also have to highlight that my Jupiter in Taurus introductory video, what did I call it? A seemingly slow and possibly unnoticed glow up. It was one of my most popular videos. And so I'll put the link to that below in the description of this. If you're keen to kind of just like look back for my leaders and say, how did things happen for me? We're going to be touching upon some topics today. We're going to be talking about the astrology. We're going to be talking about the tarot that represents all things Gemini, all things Jupiter, the minor arcana as well as the major arcana. We're going to be talking about mental health. We're going to be talking about meditation, channeling, all different things, I also want to highlight in advance that I'm recording this. What day is today? I think today's the 8th of May. Yesterday was the new moon that we had in Taurus, and I received one of the most powerful healings, upgrades, guide changes that I have ever had in my entire human existence in this lifetime. So I'm integrating some super duper big things. I might do an entire video on that later about integrating and, what's changed and, just literally, and I saw a meme or a post on Instagram that I'm going to try to find it so I can put it below or put it just like in my little community board and stuff like that, because right now I feel forever changed, forever a different person. And the meme had said a lot of healers, a lot of light workers are about to go into hermit mode right now. Something big is happening, has happened, is going on, past, present, future, all of those quantum things. So I just want to highlight that if you feel changed within yourself, I'm offering validation for you. If you feel changed in yourself, if you feel changed in a way that things that you liked yesterday, literally you would never do them again, just really trust your soul right now. This is on a soul level, deeper than higher self, soul purpose, not even soul purpose, but on a soul level, a lot of things are changing. So I would love for you to grab your journal if you'd like. During the pause, I would also really like for you to check in with yourself. I'm going to do a little bit of a grounding and do just an offering for a little light language healing as well before we go into this video, because I want us to really, I've said this for a long time, for kind of the entirety of the time that I've been doing more astrology and more quantum and multidimensional work, that if anything that I ever say is anxiety producing, just listen. You don't have to take notes. You don't have to really, I have the day that Jupiter goes into Gemini, I have that day up on the board, but I'll give you the date that it's happening, but I'm not doing times. I'm not doing anything like that. I really I got to push your chair over. This is the only area that we're really going to be talking about a lot. I might reference up here. We're going to see how I flow. But this is very expansive energy that we're stepping into. And it's going to be so advantageous and helpful for exposing a lot of the liars. I'm going to speak micro and not macro. So any lens that I speak of, I always speak in lenses if you're new to my table. I'm not going to be speaking completely to the outer world. I'm going to speak in a micro lens about how you're going to be able to tell what vibration someone is at based on very quick communication with them. And you can also use that lens when you go out into the world if you choose to participate in, systems and structures and watch news or whatever that may be. But this is going to be a very helpful energy that we can understand. It's also going to be very big stuff. Very, very, very big stuff. So Let's do it. Let's do it. Jupiter and Gemini. Jupiter and Gemini. So what do I want to use as the pause for the video? None of these things. I'm actually going to just light some sage while you get your stuff. So you don't have to pause the video if you want, but I'm going to light some sage and I'm just going to ground us. So go get your water, maybe some herbal tea. I've had coffee and I've had tea this morning, so I'm just going with it. But we're just going to clear the space. Beautiful. Beautiful. And she's still going. So for some of you, whatever you're going through right now, you can just cry with me. You just cry with me. I feel you. I got you. Just like, you're safe here. You're safe here. And if this is the first time at my table, welcome. My name is Sarah. I don't even know what title to use right now. It might change in every possible capacity. My consciousness is, I'm just not from around here. And I'm here to help you make sense of it all. That's it. That's all I got. That's all I got for today. So, Jupiter, planet Jupiter, this big gulp right over here. This beautiful, big, abundant, luscious, delightful, beautiful, big old planet. What do we know about Jupiter? This is expansive energy. This is, what have I always said? Love be a lady tonight. Just what Jupiter touches turns to gold. It's a really beautiful, lovely, kind planet. I would say Jupiter and Venus are the lovely planets, whereas we could probably look at, Saturn and Pluto and Mars as kind of like those, like, oh God, we've got a Saturn transit, when we have our Saturn return, it's, we're 29 years old and things probably fall out of place just to fall into place. And when we have a Mars return, that's a 2-year transit. It's called the terrible twos, where you're just like, oh my gosh, so much anger, so much feistiness, so much energy. And a Pluto return doesn't happen to human beings, but that's usually the crumbling or the fall of an empire. That's usually, the United States is having their Pluto return, or it's been, what was that, in 2021, 2022, where, US, the natal Pluto is at 27 degrees of Capricorn. And right now, as I record this, Pluto is at 2 degrees of Aquarius retrograde. And during this transit that we're discussing today, Pluto is going to dip back down into 29 degrees of Capricorn just for less than 2 months later on this year, between September and November. And if you're interested in more information on that, please go check out my playlist, the longer range transits. And I have 2 videos on Pluto and Aquarius, part 1 and part 2. So you can have tons of information on that. Jupiter. Expansion, gregariousness. Jupiter runs the 9th house over here. So the Sagittarius is run by Jupiter. And, if you know a Sag, you love a Sag, they are just mutable fire energy. They're just the life of the party. They're just so much fun to be around. If a Sag has got to tell you what's what, it's going to be spitfire. It's going to be interesting. But they usually have the receipts at the same time, because the 9th house, Sagittarius and Jupiter, runs legalities in certain capacities. And this is in opposition of the house that we're discussing right over here. As I'm talking, I want to highlight a few products that I have that are available for you, which is the 2024 astrology forecast and breakdown. I'll put the link for that below, as well as my birth chart basics digital download, just a one-off purchase. You get 2 videos to talk about the houses, and you talk about the sun and the moon and things like that. But I want to just offer that I have these resources available for you, and I want you to also, I'm going to write a note so I don't forget, birth chart basics. This is going to be expansive energy, expansive intellect, expansive mind energy. And, even as I said that, this could be about mind control in certain ways. Whereas, how sometimes like you'll listen to a piece of music from your childhood and you're just like brought right back there, or you smell something and you're just like, I just smell Grammy's perfume, and it just brings you right back to it. There are good sides and there are bad sides of those things. For a while, there was a moment where for about a year or so, I would smell something, a specific scent of, an old perceived enemy of mine, and I literally would just clench up. My tuchus would clench up, dude, and it would terrify me. Now when I smell it, it's just a reminder of how much deep processing work I've done and how far I've come, so I'm very, very grateful for that. But let me know, comment below, what are your favorite smells, or what are your favorite pieces of music that can just snap you back into the good times, the bad times? Let's start a dialogue. Let's start a conversation about this. This is a year-long transit, so I really hope and expect this video, and please save this video as well and come back to it a few times throughout the year, maybe once a quarter, whether it be God's quarterly or it be human quarterly, whatever that may be, and check in with yourself and see how Jupiter's going to take a year to go through here. Whereas the sun, the day that the Jupiter goes into Gemini, the sun is at 5 degrees of Gemini. It takes about a month. Venus, a little bit longer than a month. I'd say 6 weeks, maybe 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the retrograde and the side of it. So make sure you can see everything. I know it's dipped down. We don't really. The moon, actually, I want to show you, is in Capricorn the day of this transit starting. And so I would love for you, after you watch this video, to have a few grounding practices that you utilize throughout the day. We'll talk about why. So, Jupiter, expansive energy, runs the house of quest and adventure and long distance travel and higher education. And we, want to do big things. That's what we love about Sag, where they're nah, I'm hopping on a plane tomorrow. I'm getting married. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. It also has to do with the legal system. I'll talk about that why. I'm trying to wrap everything around. So expansion of information. And I mentioned this before in one of my videos, I forget when it was, where the first time that I, started to research this transit, and I was, listening to astrologers that I really respect, and I was learning a lot about what other people's views of this are, and I started to get anxiety. My human was starting to get anxious. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a lot. I myself am partially run by Jupiter. My natal sun is conjunct Jupiter in the sign of Aries. That's why I'm a supercharged, rambunctious baby infant ram. And I'm you can fly if you want. You can do anything in this world. You can do it all in a day. I believe in you. And that's important for, my angelic side. And it's important for me as a healer and, someone who practices, who does channeling work. That's just what I'll leave it at that. It's necessary in this world. We all need supercharged cheerleaders. We need superhero teams. And also, what is your favorite superhero? Please comment that below, because I've been living in the Marvel universe now, not just the, it was Lord of the Rings for about a year. It was interesting. So, okie dokie. So when I was starting to do research about this transit, I was getting anxious because it was talking about an overflow and abundance of information. Raise your hand if sometimes you open an application, an app that you use, and you see things that, you probably agree with. At this point in time, we're not really, if you've been following my work, I've been recommending, we're not really following accounts that don't vibrate with us. And, if you got aunts and uncles and stuff like that, you just kind of put them on silent. So you don't really, I'm putting my sweater on. It's kind of, it's raining a little bit in Gloucester today. And you're able to check in with your vibration and say, if this is making me feel like this, that's not the way. I want to feel vibrant. I want to feel effervescent. There's enough problems. We're cognizant of the fact that there's death brazen all over the planet, that there's war, that there's famine, that there's issues, that, there's just so much manipulation. We're cognizant of that. We know that. But if we start to get addicted to the doom scroll, we start to get addicted to the intel. That's also where we can lose a lot of light workers. We're like, did you see this? 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 It's enough is enough. How are you building your society? How are you rebuilding your life? How are you contributing to the positive side of things instead of just sharing the negatives? That's a really important thing. A lot of the times, I'll look up in the sky on a beautiful sun shining day and I just start to see the lines across the sky, and I'm just just going to do some bubbling work. I'm going to know that I'm safe and protected and all is well and everything's happening in due course and everything's fine. But I'm not going to take pictures of it and share it. I'm not going to do that because then that's perpetuating that system. It's perpetuating that which we do not want to contribute to anymore, that we do not want anymore. So why would I, A, harness it in my phone, and B, share it on my platform forever? It has my name attached to it forever. So those are just some, more personal tales and things like that. I'm really going to try to articulate in the nicest way possible the way that this is going to really help with, because, okay, so I was really jazzed about Tucker Carlson being on Joe Rogan. I found that podcast to be worth my 3 hours of time. I'll probably watch it again. Like, it was really, I enjoyed the way that they chit-chatted. I enjoyed the way that they shared and the way that it ebbed and flowed. I appreciate long range, as you can see. So it's kind of, it's nice. It was really, really nice to see. And something that I really respected that I want to offer as a preview for what it is that I'm about to say is that, Tucker was saying that, creativity lives in all of us. But the one thing that stumps it, that stops it, that puts a stopper in it is lying. You can't be a creative and be a liar. And, Joe had interjected about, comedians that steal other people's content. And that after, the club lights get turned on what it is that they're doing, they kind of go into this lull where it's, yeah, you can articulate something and you can say it beautifully, you can regurgitate it beautifully, but it's not your own. And it has so much to do with the ego. And this was Joe Rogan's words, not mine. I'll put the link to that talk below. Worth your time. Just have it on the background. Worth your time. And he was saying like, yeah, you kind of see them plummet a little bit afterwards. And they're that's what it was. It's all about ego. They want the laugh. They want the stage. They want the title. They want their name in shining lights and all that thing. But it's not real. It's not real. So I think I'm going to Tarantino this a little bit and just kind of go to the end and say, I really feel as though creativity, creative expression, healthy expression of whatever it is that you've got inside of yourself that you need to get out, this is going to be the solve. This is going to be the medicine as to how to navigate the next year solely based on this lens. Yeah, we talk in lenses around here because we have Pluto, we have Neptune, we have Saturn, we have Uranus, we have Jupiter, we have Mars, we have Venus, we have the Sun, we have the moons. I have the Patreon group. Definitely go check that out. The link is always at the top of the description. There's so many different things happening all at the same time. And Sarah, now you're telling me we're going to expand intellect and information? Yeah. And I believe that this is going to be a part 1, and I'm going to do a part 2. And actually, I'm going to do that today probably. And so we can kind of see for each rising sign where this is falling in your chart and like how I'm just going to like channel and see what comes through and stuff like that. And I'm getting to know a lot of new guides. I'm going to do a whole personal video on what happened yesterday because it's big stuff. And how do I say? I'm going to share in a way that is vulnerable, yes, but only the information that will affect you, my community, my YouTube community, my Patreon community, my Instagram community, my home community, all of that good stuff. Because when it comes to healing work and energy work, like my client sessions, it's a steel box. Everything is confidential. Everything. It's like, yeah, in my human life, I was, HIPAA certified, and there's no point in sharing other people's information. It just comes right back. So I want to share what I'm experiencing in hopes that gives you the validation and the offering for you to feel safe and comfortable and confident to share what you're experiencing and going through. Because I'm not the only one feeling this or going through forever change. Yeah, we can't be the old versions of ourselves as we birth a new world. So creativity is going to be the best way to handle all this mental energy. It's going to be a lot of downloads coming in for everyone. And this is going to be normal people, random human beings. It's going to be people that maybe don't even have this language, that are going to be having dreams of their ancestors. They're going to be hearing voices in their head. They're going to be feeling the need to not really resonate with their jobs anymore. People that believe in political parties might be either switching sides or going to different ideologies, and because they want to find a safe place to be at home and a community to be a part of. Listening to my guides at the same time, so it's a wonderful thing. So let's look at the positive and let's look at the negative. Actually, what I want to do first is look at the sign of Gemini and just offer a little bit of validation for my Gemini sun, moon, and risings. And I make a joke sometimes about how my tarot card readings are like a Gemini telling the story, where I let like not just one qualifier, but like a lot of other cards come. If you're in my Patreon group, please comment below and share. Like, it's like a 4-card spread, it's like a dozen cards. And so you need the backstory. Think of a Gemini telling you a story, and they're talking about something that happens to them that weekend, but they might start in 1997, and they might be like, okay, so I need you to have this understanding. The first time that I heard this band play, this is where I was wearing these jeans, I had just gone to the mall, and the Limited 2 was just starting to like that is the story that they're talking to you about, something that happened yesterday. You need that backstory. You need that understanding. I also want to offer for my Gemini sun, moon, and risings, if anyone has ever told you that you interrupt too much, it's solely based on the fact that they didn't take the time to get to know you and to understand you. The amount of Geminis that I've met, just random people, whether it be in restaurant work, whether it be in healing sessions, whatever it may be, that they're so apologetic. I'm so sorry, I just interrupted you. I'm so sorry. And I didn't even say anything. I'm like, no, interrupt me. I'm an Aries, Gemini. This is a sextile. What do we know about sextiles? We get along really well. So it's beautiful, free-flowing energy. But sometimes a Taurus and a Cancer might be like, Gemini, can you just stop? Can you just be a little bit more grounded? We're trying to feel our emotions. I understand that you gave it 35 seconds, but I need more. So there's just a little bit of that lens. I feel like I'm very Jupiter and Gemini right now. So I just recognize that I'm going to have a Jupiter sextile. We're just going to write that down. I love the world so much. It's good stuff. So the positive side, and the Gemini has 2 brains. It's the twins. This is the glyph of the Gemini right over here. So they have 2 functioning brains. So if they're interrupting you, it's because brain number 1 learned and processed information as brain number 2 is talking, and brain number 1 is trying to tell you the thing that they just learned. They could be telling a story and then correct themselves in the moment. They can self-process. Like, really, Gemini processing, please comment below if you're a Gemini sun, moon, or rising. Can you process alone in the mirror like a champ? Like 30 seconds and you're just like, nope, I'm done. Childhood trauma, this specific moment in time, done. Let's move along. Let's go have fun. Let's have a party. It's beautiful stuff. So the positive side of that is going to be very, very quick integrations, quick understandings, information coming in hot. But everyone on the planet is receiving Jupiter and Gemini. So those that do not have a grounding practice and that do not have a place to express themselves creatively, they're going to be experiencing this feeling. They're going to be experiencing this feeling and they don't know what to do with it. That can lead to, I'm going to use very brazen words right now, and I'm not poking, I'm not prodding, I'm not saying like this is what is going to happen, but we're going to be seeing, madness or psychosis could come of this. Because for myself, I do channeling work. And if you've been at my table for a while, I'm just going to introduce them. So when I'm looking at you, I have my guides and higher self showing me an image over here. And then I usually have at least one other universe functioning over here. I can thank my Atlantean self for getting the bionic eye put in. It'll go to the playlist, My Past Life Tales. You can listen to that whole story. But I function baseline 3 universes. Baseline every second of every day. So the amount of voices that I have going on in my head, I have to be able to differentiate tone. Is this an intrusive thought? What is going on here? Is my human experiencing anxiety? Is my inner child in need of play? Is my inner teenager trying to destroy my life? Who needs attention? Am I getting a message from one of my guides? What is going on over here? So without grounding, I'd be locked up and put away somewhere. Say, she's cuckoo pants, this woman. She's cuckoo pants. But thank goodness I function somewhat in the normal society, and I'm, I clean up nicely sometimes. So it's okie dokie. But I honestly, you might be getting the bedazzles on the face pretty all the time now. Yeah, it's been pretty status quo for the past week. So I'm cool with that. So creativity, a light worker that I knew lifetimes ago and a few years ago, she had called being an artist the way that you can take the art that you create and hold it up to someone and be like, here, I'm not crazy. It's because I made this. This is art. This is what I did. I made that. I'm not crazy. It's good. Life, see, I'm okay. I got this. And so having a way to express yourself, and what's coming into my brain is, if even the thought of like, I'm not an artist, I'm not this, as long as you're not a liar, you're an artist and you have a way. If you can appreciate music, if you can't create something, I'd recommend your medicine, if you want to fill out your little prescription card, is going to a museum more often than not, is going out into nature more often than not. Looking into a flower is art. That's God having a physical experience. So just, if you can appreciate art, be around it more often. Wear more ostentatious attire. Put on 2 different color socks. Just baseline stuff. This is all just literal medicine that will help get you through this transit to the point of, I hope that it sticks. Just saying, I want a more ostentatious society. We didn't come to this planet to all be blades of grass. It'd be really boring if we were. So be your flower self. I wrote a poem a few years ago I might share with everybody during this transit. Just saying. This one's a little long, but we'll see what happens. So let's just look at the 3rd house now, and this is another lens. So communication, language, early learning, and short trips. Early learning, what does that mean? When you were first a little bebe and you were learning the boundaries of your communication, you were learning, how far can I take this? Did you have siblings? And what number sibling were you? If you were the oldest, you could probably get away with more. If you were the middle child, myself as well. If you were the youngest, you can get away with anything. Also, if you were the youngest and the oldest was really in charge, you were kind of smacked around a little bit. And so where did you learn the boundaries of that? Where did you learn, okay, I can say this, but not to this person, but I can say this and not to this person? Like, we learned intuition at a very young age, but some of us, and if you were an only child, you could probably get away with a lot more. And you probably ran the ship a little bit. Yeah, it's a very fascinating psychological component that's coming through. And the tarot is very deeply connected to this as well. I'll show you the cards in a little bit. So this is also short trips around town, driving around the back shore. G-Town ride, around the back shore, G-Town ride. Soul Rebel Project. It's just, please go listen to G-Town Ride. That's my home. That's my daily life. It's so good. It's just so good. Sorry, my little microphone is exposing the girls a little bit more than I want to. Pardon me. Hi, I'm Sarah. I'm figuring out how to be a human in this lifetime. We're doing our best. So you might be a little bit more keen to go on mini adventures. Not huge adventures. That's Jupiter and Sag up here. But mini adventures. Little around town. Little, going to the next state, or going, for a drive. Doing things in a way, like, I live in the United States, and like, I could see the ocean, I could see the mountains, I could see the forest, all of it in a day. So this will be a little bit of, we want to explore. Even as I'm talking, a lot of people might be moving in ways that they're going to find their forever communities. This is not just my language, but a lot of people are going to be finding their forever partners as well. That has many different lenses to it, but the tarot is involved and invested in that. And, I'd say between now and 2027, full body chill on that. 2024, 2025 to 2027, we're going to be experiencing a lot of, and I don't like the word soulmates because we're a whole inside of ourselves. The twin flame, I don't believe in that language as well. No one can fulfill you. I'll just say that. You can feel at home with people and your full community is looking for you. And the people that, I love those phrases, is like you haven't, the people that are going to love you the most, you haven't even met yet. So I find that to be very, very fascinating. But knowing that partner that you're meant to grow and ascend with, the person that you're meant to enliven and enlighten the planet with, a lot of those are going to be coming together right now. And this is, it is a bit of a soul contract, the people that we, contracted to be in our lives for good. Not for bad, for good. We have all of that. If you're on the fast track of the ascension, then you've probably had in your younger years, a lot of really crappy relationships, whether you've experienced narcissistic abuse, verbal abuse, physical abuse, drug abuse, homelessness, alcoholism, addictions of any kind, eating disorders, cigarette smoking, overuse of cannabis flower, overuse of plant medicines in every capacity, hallucinogens. You've probably experienced a lot of those things. And so what I would recommend for this time period is recognizing that those things are medicine. The plant's medicine is medicine. And so just like when we were kiddos, you remember how good bubblegum amoxicillin was? You can't drink the bubblegum amoxicillin after you've healed whatever it was that you don't need plant medicines for a lot longer. And I forget who had predicted this. It was a channeler, Alexandra, someone, I'm not really sure. The plant medicine energy is going to be changing within the next, I'd say 10 years or so for a lot of light workers, where you're going to be able to sink into that vibration in a way where you don't need these things anymore. You can do it naturally with breath, with tree hugging, with, bare feet on the grass, on the ground, just laughing. Have you ever had just a belly laugh where you're going to piss your pants with people and then afterwards you just feel so livened and so lit the F up? It's beautiful. That's going to be you're going to have that high that just takes you throughout the day. So I want to show you the tarot cards that represent all of this decan of the astrological wheel. Am I done with? Also, this is just coming to me. Studying a language, or a lot of people might really be learning to speak light language. A lot of people are going to be interested and fascinated in other languages, religions, modalities, all those different things. That is going to be encompassed in this house. So I'm very, very excited about that. Yeah, I would say if you are on this planet right now and you only know one language, ask yourself why. Just ask yourself why you do not have the desire to communicate with more people, or to really, it's tough. I study Italian and it's been a few years and it is tough stuff. It is triggering for my human, and it's just, I get so mad at myself over it's not going into my brain. It's because it really invokes a different part of your brain, and your brain is limitless. So give it a complete language. Give it a study. Yeah, I would say studying languages, study new modalities, new healing modalities, new ways to meditate, and look at your, sorry, I just want to sit down. Look at your big three to kind of understand a little bit of what the medicine may be, to give you a little bit of a track. What do you mean by that, Sarah? So I am an Aries sun, Capricorn moon, and a Scorpio rising. So I have fire, earth, and water. So air energy, intellect energy, is actually solid medicine for me. So me studying a language is really great. Specific, the only air in my chart is my Venus is in Aquarius. I know. And it was funny because at the beginning of this video, I was think of the heavy hitter planets. You got Mars, you got Saturn, and you got Pluto, which are my ruling planets. So, hey, if I can work with those planets, you can do anything in this world. Okie dokie. So major or minor first? Royalty. Let's do that. So the King of Wands, the King of Swords, he runs Gemini. And so, we have the two little birdies over here. So that's like a nice little preview of the twins, and it's a nice little view of like, we can't do this on our own. We're meant to experience human life and experience it with other human beings. So that's a really wonderful thing over there. As well as what I love about his sword is that it's not raised up fully, which represents intellect. It's raised over to the right to the sign of action. So he's ready to utilize his intellect. He's ready to wield that sword for good. But he's not moving for just anybody. No, he's not getting up for just anybody. So this is a mastery of your intellect, mastery of you understanding that I don't really need to be hardened. Yeah, I know things, but I don't need to shout it from the rooftop. That's one of the beautiful steps in your ascension, in your awakening process. You cannot wake up a single other person. You can only wake up yourself and say, hey, if you need me, this is where I'll be. Playing in the grass over there. Yeah, no, my bank account's good. She's flourishing. She's tits out. She's happy. Yeah, I don't have to stress. No, because if I stress, then it lowers my vibration and everything goes down. But if I just enjoy myself and frolic, then life's pretty freaking sweet. It's pretty sweet. So that's beautiful. Now, Jupiter is the Wheel of Fortune. Number 10, a completed cycle. There are no human beings on the wheel. God spins the wheel. And if that is a triggering word, I use the term God brazenly. I always give that little disclaimer. So if you need to use the word universe, just insert universe or whatever it is that you've labeled the air you breathe all the way to every single particle in your body, to every single star in the system of the sky. So that's God. God turns the wheel. This is on a soul level, very important stuff. And I don't... This is one factor, one lens of what we're experiencing. But from 2024 to 2027, this is a really big deal. This is a really big deal. Even on a micro level, I just want to offer, do you know anyone who is homeschooling or learning how to homeschool? Do you know people that are, becoming spiritual entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs, and they're trying to start their own business and they're trying to create something that they've never created before? Yeah, you're going to look back on this time and be so proud of yourself for not, we all have to participate just like a wee bit into the little systems. Most of us do. Some of us have completely escaped the matrix. Some of us really have. And I'm so grateful for them. I'm so proud of them. And a lot of them are just have channels and they're teaching other people, this is how to do it. Yeah, it's exciting. But just like in the Man in the Arena, I don't let a single other person hold space for me or judge me if I wouldn't trade lives with them. If they're not in their own arena, then it's an opinion. It really is. It really is. Jupiter. Gemini. So there's three different groups of people that I want to speak to. So if you are in a divine partnership with your soul person, I want you to maybe, and I crap you not, have a commitment ceremony with them. Go on a date in a way that is so re-bind yourself to each other in a way, not even bind yourself to each other because you have to be your own sovereign being, but rededicate yourself to them and remind them why you love them, because you grow together. And I would love for the two of you, when you're cheersing, when you're praying over your meal, to really cheers for those that are just finding their love, or just cheers to those who are about to find their love. Yeah, send love to those. I like to visualize in my morning meditation that today, in this moment, in this breath, in this second, there is someone who's meeting the love of their life for the first time, and they're shaking hands, and they're going on a date, and they're turning rosy cheeks, and you'll just know that it's them. Go slow as molasses. That's the best advice that anyone will ever give you, and I will take that advice with my king. I'm very, very excited about that. But go slow as molasses, in the type of way, in the sexy time way. Go slow as molasses. Thank me later. Yeah. He'll know, she'll know, they'll know. And so those that are in divine partnerships are ready, love up on them. Rededicate yourself in this time period. Those who are not in divine partnerships, dress for success every day. Show the world. And this is the message that I got, so I'm going to share it with you as well. The only time that you're going to see me frump a dump is if it's right after I went to the gym, whereas I'm hooded up. I'm like a little like, what's going on over there? I'm like, no makeup. I don't wear shoes at the gym. Like, it's very much like a different version of me. And the only other time that you won't see me is when, like, I sometimes do overnight senior care. And so if I'm leaving, I just wear my PJs and I'm just driving home. I don't stop or anything like that. I'm just in my car. But like, if you were to see me, like my beautiful, lovely gas station attendants, I love Flanagan so much. I couldn't speak more highly of them. And it's just like, we have some of the most empowered and enlightened conversations in the world with my, full service gas station attendants. I love you, Flanagans. Love you so much. They're the only other people that see me in that capacity. But my guides were just like, yeah, I want you just to like look the way that you will want him to see you for the first time. And so divine masculine, divine feminine, just, straighten your tie. Bruise your cheeks a little bit, whatever that may look like. It's also a really wonderful way to show how you care about yourself. And I am not diminishing that in any capacity. If you are going out to the store in your PJs, if you're doing these types of things, it just shows how much you honor your vessel and your temple and how you feel about yourself. And so no one is judging you in any capacity. This is about you. I'm just offering validation that if you don't feel as though you're worthy of putting on clean clothes and clean things, then you don't feel as though that you're worthy of putting on clean clothes and clean things. So that's all I have to say about that. It is in no way a judgment. I've actually been there, and in those moments I was extremely in pain and I didn't care about a thing. Yeah, I was either ingesting cannabis flower for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I literally didn't care about anything. I was like, whatever, budget, doesn't matter. So I've been there. And so I can only speak from I statements that I was in the most amount of pain and I needed attention. Or it has a lot to do with like the fall of an empire and stuff like that. But I think it was a waking up post-woke discussion that I did. It was just a Sarah's fascination of how, a gender obsession comes right before the fall of an empire, just historically. And I thought that was very, very interesting. And it had a lot to do with like gender neutrality and like they're not really giving an F about like that. Shows, it's just historically based, shows like downfalls of empires. But I'll just leave that there. I think it's on my Waking Up Post-Woke, My Human Story, that playlist. So if you're interested in it's just a Sarah's fascination. There's no astrology or tarot involved. But so now, to wrap it all up, this is why I would love for you to have a grounding practice, because this is going to be the terms personal responsibility come to mind when it comes to these three cards that I'm about to discuss right now. Because we know as leaders that we have to say, yes, this happens to me, but I did not label it on my lapel. There's a difference between saying, yeah, I've gone through some SHIT, I've experienced some things in this world, I've really gone through it, I'm so grateful because it made me the person that I am today. I wouldn't change a breath of my life. I wouldn't change a single moment, a single decision, none of it. None of it. It made me who I am today, and I'm awesome. And I'm here to help other people become the most authentic versions of themselves on this planet, which is an absolute superpower, and it is one of the greatest blessings that I could have ever asked for in human form. So amazing stuff. But I'm sure you've also met other people on this planet that have had some really messed up things happen in their lives, and they're like, yep, that's why I am the way that I am. Nope, this happened. This happens. I put it on my lapel. This is what happened. So as you can see on the 8 of Swords, no one's coming. Absolutely no one is coming. Yeah, she's blindfolded herself. There's nothing that actually is tied around her legs. She can walk away at any time. No one is back there. The town is far away in the distance. This is like woe is me type of a mentality, which doesn't serve anyone. Other references I have for you, the end of quote unquote therapy, that's a video that I had done. Because if all you're doing is going to revisit your trauma, big T, little t, whatever it may be, you're telling your nervous system to relive it over and over and over again. And your nervous system doesn't know the difference. Your body doesn't know the difference. So if you're going back and discussing it over and over again, is that not just a gossiping session? Just a thought. If you're given actionable tools to better yourself, to go into it in a safe space, to give it back to the God of your understanding. Yeah, what's the best fertilizer? Manure. It's just our reptilian brains that have labeled it as negative, right? Really cool stuff. So this is going to be, this is the first decan of Gemini. So this is 0 to 10 degrees of Gemini. And like I said, this is a year transit. So if we can, let's just go through it and we'll choose our own adventure. Let's choose the positive side of things. Okay, I've had some things happen to me. I'm going down the road of life. I'm going through this Jupiter transit. And I'm recognizing that, yeah, maybe I need some healer. Maybe I need a spiritual practice or kind of understand my astrological chart. I can look at my Chiron placement and see where my core wounds are and see how I can heal those. And all those things are well. Or I can avoid all of that and I can blame the systems, I can blame the establishments, I can blame the structures, I can blame whomever it may be, whatever mother or father that you've labeled out there that has done you wrong because you don't want to look at your actual core mother and father wounds. You can choose that timeline as well. 2 very, very brazen timelines. You can see them out there in the world. I know I wasn't going to mention the outside world, but I'm trying to touch upon it gracefully and with compassion because I've been there. I've been there. I was protesting and I was they-theming in 2020. You can come back from anything. You got to look at yourself. Stop eating sugar and stop drinking fluoride and take out that IUD and stop taking birth control and you'll see how different things are. Yeah, you'll see how different things are. Okie dokie, here we go. So the 9 of Swords. I know you think of Gemini as so like lovely and wonderful and all that, but they actually have a lot of heavy things going on in their brains right now. And this is worrying about other people's problems. Do you see how the swords are hanging up on the wall? And I don't know if you can see it. They're my big old cards, but you can see the glyphs of Aries and the planets and all different things on the quilt over here. It's a really beautiful card, but it's worrying about other people's issues. We cannot save other people. We have to let them discover the light inside of themselves. As you know, post-codependent people, every single person has a light inside of them. Yeah, they're alive. But murderers have lights inside of them. Pedos have lights inside of them. That doesn't mean that they can see it. So you have to look at the light inside of yourself and take that beautiful oracle eye that you have, my darling, and turn it on yourself. Love up on yourself. Work with God, work with the universe and the God of your understanding, and listen to the whispers of what it is that you are meant to do on this planet. Don't worry about anybody else. Let me rephrase that. If everyone on the planet worried about what was on their plate, their home, their family, their team, their flock, and nobody else, everyone on the planet did this, the world would be a much better place. We have to take personal responsibility for our lives and recognize the planets aren't doing this to us. We contracted this. This is a roadmap. We are the map makers. We chose to be here right now. Nothing is happening to you. You have to take responsibility for your own life. I know, I told you at the beginning it was going to be heavier, so I know, it's going to be great. Dun da da da, da 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 da. What is that even from? Da, 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 da. Is that Star Wars? I think it's Star Wars. Please, if you're still with me, comment below. Okie dokie. So this is, again, so let's go back, fork in the road. So I'm choosing to just take responsibility for myself, my home, my family, my team, and my flock. Nobody else. Thrown my TV out the window. I am not following accounts that really don't resonate with me anymore. I really want you to trim the fat, unsubscribe. If I'm somebody that's anxiety producing and too much and you're not receiving the right thing from me, please unsubscribe. Please. You don't have to stick around to make me happy. I only want to be here for you until you have the tools in your toolbox to help yourself, and then you don't need me anymore. That's it. So utilizing this card and this energy from 10 to 20 degrees of Gemini, positive side of things, Yeah, I'm feeling human anxiety. I'm smelling the fat of anxiety in the room. I'm going to meditate. I'm not going to make massive decisions today. I'm really going to work on myself. I'm going to exercise more. I'm going to drink clean water. I'm going to do what I can with the tools that I have as I whittle new tools. Or, why don't you care about what's going on the other side of the planet? How devilish are you for not giving a crap? You should be protesting. Can you believe it? They're not giving us enough money. They're not doing this. They're not doing this. Yeah, we know that. Me lowering my vibration doesn't help anybody. Me screaming on a soapbox doesn't help anybody. Doesn't. You have to pick your favorite. You have to pick, and this is something that I've offered to a lot of people that maybe have, had a, leaving of the woke mentality. Pick your favorite issue. For me, it's the children. I meditate and I send love to the children. There is so much demonic activity going on. There's so much sexualization of the kids going on in this world. And it can break my heart if I look into the actual content of it. So I send love. I do what I can. I send light and blessings to every single one of them. I try to help bubble them. I try to do as much as I can within the safety of my meditative space, because I am impenetrable and powerful as a mother father in that space, as are you. As are you. The power of your brain, your thoughts, actions, words, and intentions it's limitless. Limitless. So choose that. Choose to do something about it. It takes one sword to kill someone. This is literally, I've labeled my traumas on my lapel. I've tattooed them on my forehead. This happened to me, and then 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 this happened to me. There are many ways to interpret this card. It's always darkest before the dawn, and the dawn is rising in the background. This could be clarity. This could be acceptance. The last stage of grief is acceptance. This is a 10. This is a completed cycle. This is clearer thought and intellect. It's also, I'm going to take a sip of water. I've referenced the Jim Carrey Maharaja University of Management 2014 commencement address speech numerous times, worth your 24 minutes. And he references, and he speaks very, very eloquently of it. I know, I don't know either. I don't have the full answer, but he speaks that every decision that we make in this world is based in fear or love, when we boil it down. So before, during, and after, especially after this transit, you're going to be able to tell a liar instantly. You're going to be able to tell the vibration that someone is at instantly, based on how they feel, how they look, how they present themselves, the facial expressions, the vibrancy, the smile. The smile. Yeah, lies is a fear-based mentality. Oh my God, sorry. I'm listening to my guides. If you're here at this table, you have a lot to offer this world based on your vibration alone. And those little things that you do. If my DoorDasher is here, just know that you're very well loved. Just know that you're very well loved. The little things that we've done in this world, and you won't be doing it for much longer, you won't have to. Is currency. Is currency. And we won't be able to make sense of that just yet. Be open to God blessing you in ways that do not make sense. Know that those nights that you've spent praying for others, that God listens to that. Your angels listen to that. that there's the time of the underdog is coming to an end, is what I'm being told right now. And that this transit is going to be very helpful for that. Whereas you've been, the only one at work that's been working on manifestations and that's been working on their inner child work and all this stuff. And everyone's been like, look at you. You're so like, oh my God, look at you. You think that your thoughts create your reality? Well, then manifest $1 million. Meh. You're going to have things come to you. Because that sparks open that seed that you planted in the heart of that person. When you get to walk out on your last day and people are like, she was right all along. She was right this whole time. These moments are blossoming right now. Those redwood seeds that you planted a very long time ago are sprouting, my dears. And there's no stopping it. There's no stopping the goodness that's meant for you. You're a blessing to this world. This is really big stuff that we're experiencing right now. You're a teacher. You're a wizard, Harry. You're a superhero. You're an X-Men. What's your favorite superhero? I think I already asked that. Please comment that below. I might just do a poll in the community tab. I'm so chilly. It's rainy. It's rainy. Yes, from the Joe Rogan and Tucker Carlson, creativity and liars cannot exist. So that will be a nice also earmarker to be able to, if you ask someone like, how do you express yourself? Like, what do you like to do for creativity? I don't. Then you can tell. You can tell. When people show you who they are, listen. That's been a big one that's been coming up for a lot of people, myself included. Whereas just being able to say like, okay, that's how you feel. Okay, cool, nice. That's awesome. Good for you. I think that's it. I think that's it. I think that's it. I pulled some cards just that I had out on the table, and I just want to show two of them when I was like, what's the vibe of this video gonna be? And the two cards of the teachers. Yeah, they're the same thing. So whether you're of the vibration of the Fool or of the vibration of the Hermit, they're literally the same thing. Yeah, you come sit at my table, you know that I look the way that I do, but what I say is a little different. I love you. I'm very proud of you. This is going to be a very interesting year, a very transformative year, learning how to navigate separate timelines that are, overlaid. There's no separate earth that we're going into. We're just learning how to navigate side by side. So protect yourself, be safe out there. The more you, how do I say, when I have sparkles on my face and I dress up like this and I go out in the world, it's like my suit of armor. It's kind of like people just soften a little bit and they recognize that like, yeah, you're my tribe, or people are just pushed away naturally. Sometimes it happens with the tattoos as well, where people see, and please, yeah, if you have lots of very visible tattoos, comment below. Does that happen to you a bunch, that people are either like drawn to you or they're very off put by you? It's kind of like we are all understanding like what tribe we're a part of based on the way that we express ourselves. And that's like we're even as I'm saying this, a lot of you are like, girl's making sense. You can tell what vibration people are at. That's telepathic understanding. That's your spidey senses coming on. You know more about this awakening than you think that you do. Let me know how you think. Let me know how you feel. Share this with somebody, please. Subscribe to my channel if you're interested, if you like videos like this. And like I said, only subscribe for as long as you need me. Once you have the tools, I believe in you. See you soon.